So today is a time for another Mission Inspiration Journal page. It's May and the May 2018 challenge has come out. And this one I can tell is going to be a challenge. I've gathered all the ingredients. I have a general idea of what I think I'm going to do in my head, but we will see how this one goes along. So May's Mission Inspiration colors this month are moss, sunflower, and rust. Pardon, my printer's kind of running out of ink, so this is supposed to be a green. The theme words are earth, forest, elements, fossil, and tropics. And the steps they have are to add texture paste with a spatula, spritz or spray colors, add drips or splatters, add natural texture or fibers, add one or more focal images, add illegible handwritten text, add book text or paper shapes, and then finish with a border or frame. So I think in order to do what I want to do, I'm going to have to go out of order, but we will see how this goes. So the first thing I'm going to work on is getting the background ready, and for the natural texture or fiber, I have some ribbon scraps left over that I want to shred a bit and get glued down before I start painting. So to do that, I have recently bought some matte super heavy gel medium by Liquitex. I can't really tip it because it's pretty thick, and I'm hoping that will hold these down. So that's the first step I'm going to do, is add some texture background with these guys. And I'm going to have to use my scissors to shred them a little bit because of the polka dots. And the word that stuck out to me most on here was kind of earth and forest. So I'm hoping I can use these to almost inspire little trees or branches. So we'll just get those glued down. And these scraps are actually wedding leftovers from when I got married it'll be almost 2 years ago. My mother-in-law and I made wreath centerpieces for the table, and since it was a farm wedding, we used all these natural fibers, so I have tons of these little scraps left over from the bows and things we made. So what I'll probably do, since this is going to take me a little bit to get all these guys glued down and heat dried, is I'll go ahead and I'll fast forward this section and pop on some music for you. Okay, that still has a little bit to dry, but we've got that part done. That was add some natural textures or fibers. The next thing I want to do is get some of the texture paste on here with a spatula. So I'm going to use this stencil from Tim Holtz collection. I like this honeycomb effect, so I want to go ahead and get that on here with some of the texture paste and the spatula. This way it all has some time to dry. And I'm using the Liquitex Professional Flexible Modeling Paste. So I want this to come off the page a little bit. I think this piece between the honeycomb and the ribbon texture is going to have a lot of texture in the background, which is going to make it very interesting when I start painting and stamping and doing everything else over it. It's something different. Okay. I think that's good. I'm going to get that one up. Maybe bring in some more of the honeycomb over here. I'm trying, if I can, to not use too much of the edge so it doesn't look like it just ends. Lift that up. There we go. Get some more centered in here. And then I want to get a good amount across the top. So we get some good texture going on there as well. I'm trying to stick to the center again so I don't get so much of those edges and it looks kind of like it's ending funny. There we go. And one more. Okay. Now this is going to need a little time to dry, and I've got to go ahead and get my stencil cleaned up, so I will be back once I have this all dry. Alright, so I am back. The paste is totally dry. I've let this dry overnight, so we can go ahead and check off that the texture paste has been added. So next we have spritz or spray colors, add drips or splatters. So let's work on adding the colors now. And the theme colors were moss, sunflower, and rust. But because of the brown background, I want to start with some walnut stain and just kind of get some brown coloring in here. There we go. Gonna spritz that. Oh, should be on mist. So I really want the texture to pick up. But then I'm going to go ahead and drain it off. Let it run off here a bit. And I just have a towel and an old dish pan to kind of help protect my work top. And then we'll let it run this way a bit. Spritz it a little more. I don't want too many dark spots. I just want it to have a cool wood background feel. Okay. I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun. Just gonna roll my paper towels over it real quick to help dry it, to get into some of those crannies. There we go, and you can see the texture standing out. Awesome. So there's my woodland forest theme background. So we spritzed some colors. Now I want to go ahead and add in some of the orange, the sunflower. So let me just get that kind of... This is a Daler-Rowney Indian Yellow artist acrylic ink. It was one of my favorite colors, but it's kind of had its time. Do the same thing. Get it activated and get it running. To get some of that orange, it almost makes it look more like a fall style page. Trying to help it dry a little bit as it's going. I really like how the honeycomb effect is still standing out though, and you're still getting the texture from the ribbon. It's just absorbing the inks. So once again, I'm going to get my paper towels out and clear off the end. Just give it a roll. And that's turning into a little bit of a mess, but I knew this one was going to be a challenge. Okay. Just going to put a little bit of the dark color back in because we lost a little bit with the orange. Okay. Get the salt dry. Now what I also want to do is I want to use this Butterfly Art Foamy, and I want to use that to get some of the burnt orange color in here. So I need to get one of my art buddies out here. I'm going to get some paint on that. One of my small rollers. Try to get the paint spread out a bit. Just get a stamp. So let's just see. And you can't really tell what it is. But you're getting some texture and color in the background. And I think it's because the background wasn't dry enough when I was doing this. But I'll try again down here. There you go, you see the butterfly a bit there. Put one in there. A little bit of that burgundy color in there. And I just gotta wash off the foam buddy and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've added spritzes or sprays of colors. We've added drips and splatters. Now we're going to add one or more focal images. So to do that, I kind of combined the step of adding book text or paper with the focal images, and I came up with some text butterflies. And I have already put some fern green and brown archival ink on them. So those are going to get set down here. And then I also just have some extra little bits to add to it. So now to get these glued down. And for that, I'm just going to use a glue pen. Due to all of the different textures, I'm just going to use this so it'll kind of go into the grooves and hold it better. And I chose to use my archival inks rather than my Distress Oxides because this piece was so wet. I was worried that if I tried gluing this down with the Distress Oxides, it would run everywhere. And let me just get this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. And we still have a few more steps that will hopefully get this all tied together. There we go. Now I'm just going to hit those with the heat gun to get them good and dry for the next step. Okay. So the next step is to add illegible handwritten text. And I think I want that to be what the border is going to end up being, so I'm just going to pick a corner and just start writing. There we go, we've got our border. And now I do want these to stand out a bit, or just to have a little dimension. So I'm going to do some scribbling on the butterflies. And when everything's really dry, I may need to go, I have a feeling I'm going to have to go back in here and hit it with the matte gel medium, because these are starting to come off a little. Just doing some scribbles, replicating the polka dots. Oop. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back over these with some matte gel medium when everything's good and dry. I don't want to ruin my good pen. I'm trying to press lightly because the paper is delicate and there are so many bumps. I don't want to put it through the paper and cause holes. There we go. So now we have our written border, and then so we've added texture paste with the spatula, we've spritz or sprayed the colors, we've added drips and splatters, added a natural texture or fibers, added one or more focal images, added illegible handwritten text, added book text or paper shapes, finished with a border or frame. I need to add my word, excuse me, and then I also think I want to add just a little bit of splatter. So let me go ahead and get the splatter ready. Because we have the green of the butterflies, but we don't have the green anywhere else, I wanted to go ahead and splatter a little of the green, and I want to get that burnt orange again and splatter a little of that. Or, even though it's not on there, why not put a little copper in for fun? So, here we go. I've just got to get a paintbrush. And the first one I'm going to splatter is the green. Okay, takes care of the green. I'm gonna dry that real quick. Okay, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit, I don't know if I want to do the red, I think I'm just going to go ahead and use a little bit of this Dina Wakley acrylic paint in Ancient. It's kind of a cool metallic. See if I can get that wetted down and get some shimmer on here. It's kind of breaking apart a little funny, so we'll have to see how it, I think maybe too much water. It's not really, paint some on, get a little shimmer on the butterflies. hit it with the heat gun. I've got some Tim Holtz chips to add my word. So I'm going to find all my letters and I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back and I have found my forest chips and I want them to go here. So I'm just going to position them before I get them glued down. Make sure I have space for them. There we go. I'm going to get those glued down real quick. And there we have it. May's mission inspiration complete. I'm gonna go ahead and sign it. May mission inspiration. Now this one was a challenge for me, given the colors and trying to combine them. Looking back on it, the background did come out a little darker than I had planned on. I tried to lighten it with the butterflies, but that's again the great part of doing these mission inspirations. Is it takes you out of your comfort zone, it takes you out of color schemes you normally use, it makes you think outside the box. And so with that, I'm calling this one done. Thanks for stopping by. I hope this inspires you. If you want to be part of the Mission Inspiration group, I will post a link down below for it. It's a Facebook group and there's a challenge each month. Here's a little close-up shot of some of the details. So if you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and go ahead. And if you hit that subscribe button, you'll be kept up to date on all my latest videos. So thanks for stopping by and happy journaling.